Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe21Love, here bringing you another episode of Sports Overview Topics. Hope everyone's being safe on this fine day as we once again get through uh, this pandemic, but eventually we'll get through it. And one of the reasons are we have sports. We are a week and a half away from the NFL season resuming, or starting up the NFL regular season. Uh, but plenty of news coming out of the weekend. First of all, we had the UFC Fight Night event headlined by Anthony Lionheart Smith and Alexander Rakic. Get my thoughts on that fight. We also have the Milwaukee Bucks and the Los Angeles Lakers both advance into the playoffs. That's the other thing. And so, first of all, the Milwaukee Bucks took care of the Orlando Magic Game 5. I'm actually watching the Clippers and Mavericks, as you can tell by my TV, but yeah. But the no more home field advantage per se, or home court advantage. Orlando Magic are officially out the playoffs. They won week 1 in a bit of a surprise. However, Milwaukee took care of the rest of the way. Now, Milwaukee will face the Miami Heat in the second round. Should very well be an interesting series. I said before, I'll say again, I think the Miami Heat are the sleepers of the NBA playoffs. When they're right, they're right. And I think if Milwaukee slips, then Miami can capitalize and totally take advantage of the Bucks. Now, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers, they advance as well. They, when games resumed, the Lakers took care of the Trailblazers in Game 5 to win and advance. They're likely going to face, or they're going to face the winner of Oklahoma City and the Houston Rockets. That series has been cut to 3-2 with Russell Westbrook's return. With now the Houston Rockets finally got the edge. Of course, they were up ahead 2-0. Then OKC came back, but now Houston got the edge, so who knows? But for the first time, the Lakers advance, in a while. Of course, it's been 8 years. But it feels natural to have the Lakers back in the playoffs. I think we can all agree on that. So good for Lakers. Of course, we also got the Utah Jazz and Denver Nuggets going around. Another interesting series. Of course, likely the Los Angeles Clippers going to face the winner of that. Especially since Porzingis got is officially out for the rest of the playoffs due to a torn meniscus. Um, of course, vary on the end result of that game or this game. Yeah, the Clippers just won. So, yeah, the Clippers will be facing the winner of the Denver Nuggets and Utah Jazz. Of course, Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell have been doing really well in the playoffs. It's fun to see new young stars finally emerge. And we're more talking about them now. So that's good. We had some NFL news. So Paul Richardson is once again signed with the Seattle Seahawks, the team that drafted him years ago. Of course, he had a really good season in 2017. For the last 2 years, he's been with the Washington football team. I can't say, well, he did well to start the season in 2018. However, he got hurt last year. He got hurt again. But, I mean, going from a difficult situation in Washington now to go back to Seattle and Russell Wilson is definitely easier, especially now they got, well, of course. So, I mean, geez, the Seahawks, they have Tyler Lockett, they have DK Metcalf. Going in the second year, they have Philip Dorsett. They signed free agency. They now got Paul Richardson back. That's a solid receiving core for Russ Wilson in Seattle. So, especially now when Russ said he wants to play more, act more the whole game like it's the fourth quarter per se, because apparently they're like 57-0 when they have a lead at halftime. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Seattle. I have them pegging to win the division, but we'll see. And no terrible towels will be for the start of the season for Pittsburgh. So far, the Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins are the only two teams that are going to have fans in their opening home games. Of course, Kansas City has the opening game versus Houston to start the season. A week and a half to go. And of course, the Miami Dolphins, well, their first home game is not till week 2 against Buffalo. So it's some progress, I guess. Well, I mean, there was fans at AEW on Thursday, like I said. So, I mean, progress little by little. Each state is definitely different. Each city is different when it comes to fans. So, we'll see, but little by little, I guess we're all working for that progress, and we'll hopefully get it soon. And as well, so not really many sports topics when it comes, but now my thoughts on Fight Night, Rakic versus Anthony Smith. But one sec, I gotta get my tea. Getting a little thirsty right now. But yeah, so we had Ion Kutalaba, the Hulk. He was diagnosed with COVID right before the event, so hope he gets better ASAP. But he was out the card. In the co-main event, we had Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magny. Now, Robbie Lawler is a legend, a living legend in the sport. Coming off that loss to Colby last year. Now, Neil Magny, he's also been floating around, but these two, Neil Magny hasn't really gotten that marquee win, I think, or that big name. Now, in this fight, he actually got that marquee name, and Robbie Lawler, who took the fight at the beginning of the month. When his opponent felt, but good on Neil Magny. He controlled the pace. He uses wrestling. I just don't know with Robbie. Of course, he lost to Ben Askren. He lost to Colby Covington. It's just, I wonder if the life really has been taken out of Robbie. He just doesn't look like he's really invested in fighting right now. I don't know if it's just a timing thing or I just don't know. I'm not sure how much longer his contract is, but it's different. So that was the co-main event, and then the main event, Anthony Lionheart Smith, who fought John Jones for title a couple years ago, is now fighting. He lost in his last fight against Glover in a, I would say, weird effort because in the fourth round his teeth were falling out, but his corner still had him going. This fight against Rakic, obviously people know him for his big knockout over Jimmy Manuwa and basically sending him into retirement. Rakic, he's dangerous, top 10 contender as well, and he put on a show. Controlled pace, landed leg kicks, applied pressure to Anthony Lionheart Smith, and got the victory. Good on him. They have a new top contender at 205. Considering now there's more parity at 205 now with John Jones vacating the light heavyweight title. He called out the winner of Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes for the vacant light heavyweight strap. However, with Glover fighting, Thiago Santos next month, I think Rakic, maybe one or two other victories, um, to get to that spot, but he's not there yet. He's definitely close, but he's just not there yet. Yeah, I would think the winner is Santos versus Glover, like I said, is gotta be next in line after that vacant title fight. And then after that, we also got news that Diego Sanchez apparently has 4 more fights on his his contract, and he's apparently gonna retire after that. So interesting. Now, when it comes to Diego Sanchez, my 2 biggest highlights are obviously that fight against Gilbert Melendez, or 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 Melendez. Excuse me, I forgot his first. Yeah, Gilbert. Uh, and then his fight against Clay Guida, which is in the Hall of Fame, which is well deserved. Um, both those guys are now going to live in the Hall of Fame. That fight was crazy. From the stare down to the finish. Those are my 2 best favorite moments of Diego Sanchez. So yeah. Trying to think which else. It was kind of, yeah, really not much sports news saying. Well, the there was a trade earlier today. Yannick Ngakoue finally got his trade. He's out of Jacksonville and he's going to Minnesota. Be a part of the Vikings. Apparently, it's a 2021 second round pick, and then a 5th-round pick that can be turned into a 3rd-round pick if the Vikings win the Super Bowl and Ngakoue makes the Pro Bowl. But so far, it's a 2nd-rounder and a 5th-rounder. So, I mean, good for Jacksonville because he didn't want to be there, and they get some value for him in return. Of course, they still got 2 young pass rushers. Of course, Josh Allen, who they drafted last year, pretty much a steal, and then Kayvon Chason, who they drafted this year in the 1st round. That's a nice duo. Plus, you got Taylor Bryan inside, so you got a solid front 4. As well as they still have Miles Jack, and they drafted C.J. Henderson. They have Ronnie Harrison in secondary. They still have some nice pieces as far as Jacksonville goes. And for Minnesota, I mean, obviously they lost Everson Griffin, and Linval Joseph, but that front 4 has been pretty much getting up in age the last few years. And Daniil Hunter, he's still young. He's still in his mid-20s. However, you need someone else to help Daniil Hunter and take some of the pressure off of him. And what better way to add youth and another pass rusher than Yannick Ngakoue, who is only 25. He can definitely get to the quarterback. So with him and Hunter, you got a solid 1-2 punch at pass rush to help out a new secondary. And of course, they got solid linebackers, but that just helps. And one way to help a young secondary than a solid pass rush. So it helps. I would say it's a win-win when you think about it for Minnesota and Jacksonville. So can't complain if you're either. Uh, Apparently, for some, speaking of Jacksonville, I actually did look at their schedule, and I mean, bunch of media thinks they're all tanking, and of course, in the heat of the moment when I did my initial NFL predictions, I only gave them 115. But after looking back the second time at their schedule, uh, thinking about it, they have talent. They have Minshew. Uh, they have Leonard Fournette. They have a decent group of wide receivers. They have some young talent. I think it's possible they can go 500. 8-8 is definitely possible. Maybe 9-7, but I think that's their best case scenario. Looking at it, they can probably go 4-12 as well. So I mean, we'll see. But I think when you think about the Jaguars, they probably got a little less love than what they were given. So, Lakers advance, the Bucks advance, the Clippers advance, uh, the Raptors advance, the Celtics advance. I mean, it's just we're getting into the heat of it. The NBA playoffs are making their way, but at least we're getting sports again, and soon NFL football will be here. College football, actually, sorry, for some teams yesterday or last week, but still good on them. We're getting sports. Sorry, there's not much sports news to go around today. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this another episode of Sports Overview Topics. I'm your host, AJ2 in Love. Like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. I'll see you on Thursday because AEW is back to Wednesday this week. So thank you all and see you Thursday. And be safe.